Chris could vouch for me on this one, and Ellie, I want to talk to you about this because you've been obsessive about this, and it's been the reason this place is closed off. What's your obsession with this Watcher house?
Oh no, I just want to see the actual house. That's it. Because you live so close. I just want a picture of you actually like there. I don't care that much. And John and we started watching it, and like they took so many liberties with the show. It's like not even a fun watch, kind of, it's very, because the guy who wrote American Horror Story writes, and he's a fine writer and director, not to knock him or anything, but it's kind of just like you took a lot of liberties here, which is fine. I mean, you kind of had to. There wasn't really, to be honest, there's not really much to the story. Just some creep was writing them weird letters,
right?
And then they sold the house. They had to take like
hold on.
$1,000 loss.
I know nothing about it, and I have no interest in watching the show.
What games do you have on your Switch?
I'll go with Chris here because Chris has lived near there longer than I have. He's lived around there his whole life. Without giving I'm not giving the specific addresses we live, but let's just say we're within distance of this house.
I'm 5 minutes away from the house.
Okay, I tried to be discreet, but go on.
5, like by car. Like
what about a slow jog?
So like 10-minute walk, basically.
Yeah, like I can get there fairly quick.
What about a slow jog away? How many minutes?
Like 10, 7.
You just said 10 walking.
I don't know. I must
maybe 8.
Yeah, but
I'm close to the house. What is it? I never walked there.
What if you rollerbladed there? How quick?
There, I would never make it because I would probably bust my ass.
Okay. What if I carried you there, like from your house? How long would it take?
Scott, the exertion alone would give you a heart attack and you would die.
Okay, go on.
Like they fabricated like so many things from it. Like I wouldn't even call that based on a loop story. I would say that's like.
What's the real story?
The real story. All right, you want to tell it, Chris? Go ahead. You're closer to it.
So basically, what happened was like around like 2014 or 2015. The family buys the house, and then they start getting letters to the house, and they're saying like they're calling all their children like young blood, and like the letters had some pretty like in depth. The letters weren't like totally like off base in what they were saying.
Threatening.
Yeah, but like
borderline threatening.
Yeah, borderline threatening. They were creepy. They were
no like direct threats saying like if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna come murder the shit out of you. But it was like a little too much for us to have just moved here. Like my kids' names and which rooms they're in. Like it was very much like this person has been observing this house, obviously.
Yeah, but like all those things, like they did have a neighbor that had like I'm not sure if it was like autism or Down syndrome, but he was like doing what like a normal person with autism or Down syndrome acts like that's how he was acting. Like they were just taking it as this guy's a creep, like blah blah. It's like it's like the guy has a disability that doesn't make him a psycho who's
murderer. He just doesn't get social cues. That's a little different.
So like that was real. He did live with his sister and I think his mom for like they lived there their whole lives. But like originally I thought it was him because of like they're gonna blame the guy that has a mental defect.
Was he getting into your house though?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's
hold on, back up.
No one ever broke into their house, to my knowledge, anyway.
Hold on, back up a little bit because I got lost in the mix of all that.
It wasn't that hard to follow, Brian. Where'd you get lost?
You stoned?
This is what. All right. So a family moves into the house. They start getting these letters. The letters are oddly like threatening and specific to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
then they have an autistic neighbor.
Yeah, like so, like they had it was like kind of like an odd family dynamic like next door. So like
Boo Radley or something.
Yeah, they had like an autistic neighbor who lived with his family. They were the guy was like 50-something years old.
Okay.
Boo Radley.
Yeah. So like it wasn't.
They thought he was writing the letters.
Originally, like he was like the prime suspect.
But he does have the intellect to write like that, though. Not to
be the cops autistic.
The cops didn't get the cops like. The cop part of it was like kind of realistic. Like they cared because like they had to care, but like they weren't like, oh yeah, like let me take these notes that were probably written by a 7th grader, like really seriously. Like it wasn't like a pressing issue, is basically what the cops were saying.
If I may interject, The cop in the show is Shooter McGavin, and he
Right.
drives a fucking Ferrari.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Shooter McGavin's in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the only reason I want to see this.
They
He's a
with
pretty good
another
character in the show.
another
Yeah,
thing.
so
that was-
the cops couldn't do anything because like nothing was really happening. They're just getting these.
Well,
No,
yeah,
it
you're
was
just getting these letters. Like,
harassment.
it's,
Yeah, but what are the cops supposed to do?
yeah, they ran DNA on it, and they confirmed that a woman was probably licking the letters, but they don't know who was really writing
How the
it.
fuck do they determine that?
Well, you take the DNA off of someone. and
From where you look
you
at the
can tell
envelope.
if they have a Y chromosome, then it's a man. If they don't have a Y chromosome, it's a woman.
They lick this
Duh.
letter like a bitch.
Or plot twist, you have your dog lick it.
You
Really
sound
throw-
like you sound like you know
You sound
how
like
you've
you've
done
done
this.
I think
Yeah.
you did this. I think you're the watcher.
Maybe.
There were,
Maybe.
there were like a couple of things though about it that was like pretty cool that they added. And like there actually was a guy who played video games under like the tag The Watcher. They never really looked into the guy though. Like no one knows.
Dr. Dre or Jay-Z have anything to do with this?
Not that I know of, but like they could be on it. I'm not sure.
You mean the Juminati that Kanye is after?
So another thing that bothered, I watched one episode and I was like, I don't know, Chris, if you felt this way. Like after I watched one episode, I was like, well, this stuff didn't really happen, so I'm not watching it. It was so weird to be closer to it and realize like they made everything up, almost everything, that it was kind of like not even worth my time. I don't know.
I watched it just to like.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I watched it just to see where it went. 'Cause,
Right.
like,
Where'd it go?
after the first episode, like they show like the crazy neighbor like just hiding in what's the thing that they bring food
The
up?
dumb waiter. The dumb waiter, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. I was like, all right, there's no dumb waiter in that.
Like Odd Job?
Wait, like they added him hiding in a dumb waiter.
Yeah, they said like all the past owners of the house have had no problem with him just going into the dumb waiter and playing with the dumb waiter.
That's absurd.
And I'm sitting here like, dude, like this is a pretty brand new house that they just made. It's like they're making it seem like it's like this old historic house. It's
Not
not.
even that. It's pretty, and I know a lot of people around here have been pretty insulted by how they were portrayed.
Well,
as, like, in town.
The people in Westfield are like really pissed. But like honestly,
That's how funny,
Careful! I'm part of this now. Careful
Oh,
where
yeah.
you go with this
No,
next
but then you don't come
sentence.
out of your basement, so you're fine.
yeah, honestly though, like some of the things that they said about like actual people, Westfield like kind of accurate. Like the way that you put yourself out there, like people take notice, like they'll judge you. Like that's real. That's a real thing that happens. Like
Is
you
Westfield
have-
yuppie?
yeah, they're very yuppie. Like they're one of the richest.
Okay, so it's like a waspy kind of area, a waspy
Very
neighborhood.
What it is from what I gather from people who've lived here, and I could vouch for that their whole life. It's not the people who are necessarily born here. A lot of rich people move into the town from different areas, and they give it a very bad look. Like yuppies move.
It's like LA. It's people just pretending to do the LA thing because they don't actually know what LA
Yeah,
is. But we're
that's
pretending to
actually
see what LA is. And
That
so
actually
people
is
feel bad.
that's a great way to put it. Like that type of thing. Yeah.
Ultimately, what happened at the end? Like, is it over
They
now?
don't know. They don't know. They moved, and they had to take like a $400,000 loss because they never even really fully moved in, right?
So wait,
They lived there for like 5 years. They lived there from like 2014 to 2009.
I thought they never really like moved in.
No, yeah, the letters just kind of stopped, right? It was just
The biggest theory in like the real world is that the husband wrote the letters because they say that like he bought the house at such like a high market value
smart.
and he realized that he couldn't pay for it or whatever, couldn't afford to live in the area, blah blah blah, like just financial stuff, and then he couldn't get a way out of it, so he decided to just jack up the house, just like make it seem like they're being.
Oh, it makes sense, right? Because there are people that go ape shit for that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So that's what I think happened, honestly. But like no one really knows.
Lo and behold, though, I can't believe, did I just say lo and behold?
Yes.
there are
I don't even know what that means. Lo and behold. What would you do? Sorry, Brian. Brian, like, what would you do if this happened to you? Would you brush it aside? Or would you be happy somebody took the time to write you a letter? Like, would it be like, oh, thanks. Like, this is fun. It's like getting mail.
I think I would embrace it and try to write him back.
Well, you didn't put a return at. You just leave it in the
Well,
mail.
no, I leave it out front with with whatever I'm going to call him on the envelope.
But
Fred.
how many letters could you get though before you actually felt it was an issue? You think?
Well, I think it would depend what he was saying. Like one letter.
Yeah.
All right. Honestly, I would think it was a joke in the beginning.
Right.
Like I would honestly think it was you. I'm not.
I was going to say, it would be like Scott doing some shit with you.
I don't have time to do that.
He created a person.
Right.
If
This is what?
I wouldn't care personally. It's a bunch of empty threats.
Yeah.
It's not like they were actually.
Hold on.
I don't
Right,
think
I
I have. I don't have
Scott
the time
created
to
a
write
person.
these letters.
Scott created a person, and his name is Don Stykesy,
Right.
but it's an anagram because I don't exist.
Right. This happened before catfishing was a thing.
And then he would wish people happy birthdays.
Oh my God.